Uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, humans of his earthlings, whoever you are, where you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to. Welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, today's video is obviously about the AKM. It's on the thumbnail, it's in the title, and it's certainly on my mind. The AKM is a gun that I think we need to talk about a little bit, just because people keep asking me which I prefer. The Ace-32, the M762, and out of those two, which would I take compared to the AKM? It's almost like the AKM's already in the grand final, and everyone just wants to know who it's going to be facing in the playoff. And the fact of the matter is that I wasn't actually too sure when I added up all the numbers, and I looked at them at the start of this patch, because there have certainly been some tremendous advances with the barrel, and the Ace-32 has just been buffed out the wazoo. But when I went back and edited all my footage, because I haven't been putting a lot of videos out, I've just been playing this event mode so much, I found that I had about 25 minutes worth of AKM clips like this. Just clip after clip after clip. And it's like I'd already voted. And I'd voted with my hands. And my hands said, buddy, this is the gun for us. And I've got to say, there's a lot to love about this weapon, but I don't think it is for everyone. More so even than the Ace or the barrel. The AKM takes a very, very specific playstyle to be successful. Some of the things that it does best are in fact not things that the player base generally enjoys. Things like ADSing at the mid-range, or, you know, hip firing in corridors, trying to hit leg shots, and this kind of stuff, and spraying without a red dot, a 3x, or a 6x, or a 4x. These are things that I think the AKM really excels at, and they're not things that the player base tends to run a lot of. And we know this, because we all know what the player base loves the most. They love the DPS, they love the... And this isn't just the public player base. If you've watched any of the recent PMG, CO, whatever it is, then you would know that there are just hordes of professional players in the esports leagues running around with the DBS. And it's a boring ass meta. Like, it's terrifically boring to watch. And it's a boring gun to face. Like, it's... You might not be good enough and you might have no health, but it doesn't matter. You can press the button once, and as long as you press the button once, you'll be fine. Like, that's... Forget about positioning. Forget about everything. Just have a passive wall sit and press the button once, and you win. And that's bullshit. Like, that's a terrible reward. The thing I love about guns like the AKM, like the SCAR-L, like the AUG, like the M416, is that PUBG Mobile balances the risk and the challenge with the reward of the weapon. And it absolutely doesn't do that with that thing there. The DBS, you know, it's like not what this video is about though. So let's talk some more about the AKM. What I love about the AKM, well, it's got a massive alpha dose. The base damage on an AKM round in your chest is 47.9. 47.9 is the most of any AR, world drop or crate. The Graza clocks 47.9, which is a completely different beast. The other thing that the AKM leads the league in is limb damage. The AKM's limb damage really sets it apart. It's 32.9, I think. Let me just check that. 32.4 or 32.9? 32.4. And this is all offset by recoil that is quite difficult to spray with. And that's fine. That's why you use aim assist. And you use a red dot, or in my case, I generally prefer it with no scope at all. That's another thing that's great about the AKM. It's got, in my opinion, the best iron sights in the game. They're the best. When I saved the file that you're looking at now, a lot of these clips came from, I called it AKM Blade, because that's what it feels like to me. It's got this wonderful blade-like effect, like it's a hot knife pointing straight down the middle of your screen like a sword. And the very, very tip, you just put it on the enemy and they fall over. And it feels like that for me. It's a gun that really does feel beautiful to use. It feels like a scalpel. Back to the damage. The 32.4 base damage on your limbs is a genuinely scary number. Look at this guy leave as he's knocked. He parachuted down. Didn't get killed. His mates revived him. What a legend. The 32.4 is one of the reasons why a lot of the player base don't take enough advantage of this gun. And it's one of the reasons why I love using it for drop shots. When you drop shot with an AKM, you often hit their legs. And that's great, because 32.4 damage, even if they're in full level 3 gear, is a train wreck. No one is expecting to get hit for 32.4 damage when you're wearing full level 3 vest, full level 3 helmet, and they're not hitting headshots. And that's what the AK does. That little limb damage shot there, move that guy quick, because it hurts. 3 of those, and unless they're at 100 health, they're dead. They're really, really dead. What it doesn't have going for it is bullet speed. And that, more than the recoil, is what holds it back from being an incredible spray machine. I mean, obviously the recoil is a problem. It's not the best. I do want to mention something else here. When you don't use the iron sights, for whatever reason, I feel more accurate because it sits the target. If you keep seeing where the iron sights are here, I keep sitting it about halfway up the target. This is his other competitor, the Ace 32. Right now, I think the Ace 32 is number 2 to the AKM in World Drop 7.62 ARs. But I do feel like it's still behind the AKM. I keep getting carried away. There's so much I want to talk about here. So it sits at about halfway up the target. And that means that the target tends to get chopped in half and get a lot of arm damage. I use this so much, and I get a lot of headshots at range with this gun. It's easily my most used gun, and I'm going to be a bit gutted when this video is done because I generally don't play guns that I've just done videos on. I really don't. And I made an excuse for myself to make another AK video because I'd done videos on the Ace 32 and the M762. What a great warp that was. Portal that I put out. It's such a good weapon, and it's such a great leveler if you've got bad ping. Here's my idea on this. If you've got bad ping and you're desync peeking someone, having big alpha is more important because you're hitting harder. And your first round just hits harder. And if you get a headshot, it's hitting harder. An AKM headshot and an AKM limb shot on a level 1 helmet will give you a kill. So if they've got a level 1 helmet and you hit them once in the head and once on the arm, that's 109 damage. It's actually 110 damage. If you've got a level 2 helmet and you hit them once on the head and once on the arm, that's 99 damage. This is why the gun is great when you're low health and you're just doing those desync peaks. It's really, really handy to have the ability to just clear a target when you're desperate. And when people are in cars and driving along, it dumps more damage. Having a 47.9 base damage round means that if you've got 50 rounds, you're going to be doing more damage. And when you hit people in cars, in limbs and things, it's just catastrophic. It's not great to have multiple AKMs in one squad, I find, compared to, say, AKM and a UMP, or an AKM and an M416. It's a very much, almost like having a shotgunner in your squad in terms of the alpha damage. Another thing people don't realize about this gun is because it's a slower firing AR, the AK fires 625 rounds per minute, as opposed to, say, if you're running an Ace 32, you're going to run 769 rounds per minute, right? That's a lot of rounds. Or if you're running an MG3, you're going to run a ridiculous 1,017 rounds a minute. Or if you're running an AUG, you're going to run 741 rounds a minute. Well, why are you telling me this, Pushka? Because it means that you can actually carry less ammo. If I'm running an AK and a Car 9, 250 rounds of 7s will get me through most of the game, picking up a bit here and a bit there. If I'm running an AUG and a Car 9, I need like 300 plus rounds of 5s. Because there will be moments where I'm spraying at range, and there will be just like, look at this thing. Look at it shred. Up and down, baby, up and down. Up and down and get wrecked, ya grubs. So you can, I'll quite often drop AK rounds. I'll drop AK ammo instead of dropping the way I would drop 5s, or I'd drop 9s if I was running an Uzi and a Bison. If you're running SKS AK, it just takes less ammo because it does more damage and it fires slower. And firing slower is also not a bad thing if you're into firing bursts. You can see how I kind of will often hit 5 or 6 shots in a row with the AK very quickly at the start. That's because recoil is easier to control at the start of recoil. There's less chaos. It's either going to go left or right and up, and it can only go up at the start. So your first round is generally going to start center mass, which is a great thing if you're running an AK. You want it to start center mass. Go. That's what I love about those grooving grenades. They're a sphere. They're not a flat circle. It's not an ellipse, baby. It's a sphere. It's just a great gun. And it loses out in certain situations to other guns. Hard counters for the AK in really close CQC. Generally your UMPs or your SMGs. I mean DBS or hard counter, anything in CQC. Aim, press button, in the game. It's lovely. It has a great synergy with the DP28 that you saw there, which is a gorgeous loadout. Running AKM DP28 is great. And you can spray with an AK in the mid-range, but it's not suggested because there are other things that are better than it. So you get hard counter by Uzis in movement battles. You can see even where you're hitting your shots, you're still going to take some damage. And that's fair enough because it's a slow firing gun, which generally gives the bad guys an opportunity to fire back if you miss a couple of rounds. But that range there, I love it over all others in that kind of 25 meter ADS range. It is so effective in that iron sight, peak, lean, spray, keep the... I mean, it's just great. It's just great. I love it more than any others. It's my favourite gun in PUBG Mobile, if I'm being completely honest, outside of the Baltis, the AKM. I hope you guys enjoyed that little sojourn into the AKM and what makes it tick. Always remember to put a muzzle brake on your AKM, if at all possible. It loves 50 rounds. 50 rounds is good because you don't fire as fast as you do the other guns, and 50 rounds will get you through an awful lot of CQC. There's going to be a lot more videos like this coming, so please tick your boxes, stay safe in the battlefield, and until next time, bye for now. Subscribe and stuff too, just to help me out. Bye-bye.